What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Saturday, April 27th, 2024. And yes, I am back after taking a pretty much a week or almost a week away from YouTube to basically just relax, just get away. Much needed vacation, but I am back. I'm glad to be back. I kind of stayed in contact with y'all through the community tab. I did a impromptu midweek hump day stream. And shout out to the people that came through on Wednesday. Shout out to all of y'all. Y'all ran the numbers up on that one. I looked at the numbers and couldn't believe how high those numbers actually were when it was all said and done. But shout out to each and every one of you. But I am back in the States after being on a boat going to the Bahamas for the last few days. And I'm here today to basically recap my trip. But before we go ahead and get started with that, shout out to everybody who's in the chat right now. All of my patrons over there on Patreon. Y'all got a new video today as promised based on the notice that I put up back on Sunday. Shout out to everybody who follows me on Instagram, Twitter, Discord, sends me stories to talk about or just look over. I appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out to all the members as well. But before we go ahead and get into everything, let me acknowledge those who are here in the chat. We have Hacksign KT, Denise Scales, Volvo 2 Love, Matthew Wilson, Wallow J, and shout out to Wallow J for being a member for 1 month. And also shout out to Cyberdine for the Cash App. I appreciate that. Ice Spider, Darlene, RDRD, Chuck O, Jerome Williams, Blacklight Revelations 2, Missions Vision. Shout out to Stay Positive for the $5 super chat. Says welcome back, Touring Peace and be one to the fam. Appreciate it. Derek Parker. Shout out to Darlene for the $2.99 super sticker. I appreciate it. Carla, Dwayne, Robert Brown, Jariah D'Souza, Black Women Stand Up, Ruviency, Felicia. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. If I didn't, I apologize. Scoop 2003, Doc Spencer, Tamika's Den, Dow M for Movies, Jesse Paris, and that is it so far. But yes, y'all, for those of y'all who are unaware, from Sunday to yesterday, I was on vacation. Now, many of you didn't know where I was going initially until Wednesday when I did that impromptu stream. And then that's when I pretty much revealed where I was at. And at the time when I did that particular stream, it wasn't a stream I planned. Because really, technically, I really had no intentions of doing any type of streaming or uploading. Well, more so streaming because I couldn't upload anything because I was away from my computer until today. So technically today was going to be or supposed to be the first time y'all heard my voice since this past Sunday when I gave y'all that one upload. Same for those who are over on Patreon. And shout out to Kid Gravity for being a member for 25 months. That is insane. I can't believe you've been a member there. I think you probably want my longest, I would say, running member on my channel. But shout out to you. He says, where's the steel drums in the background? Oh my God, he's an unsubscribe. There are no steel drums here. They're all still over in the Bahamas. That's where they are. But y'all, I had a very, very, very good time. This was my first time going out of the establishment, first time on a cruise, first time going to the Caribbean. So it was a lot of firsts when it came to this. So it was definitely one for the books. And I did go with my family. It was me, my mom, and my dad, because none of us have ever been on a cruise, have ever been outside of the establishment, or ever been to a Caribbean island. So this was a first for all of us. I had told them that if I had ever been on a cruise before, I would not have even gone because I would have let them have that experience for themselves as a first time situation. And each and every one of us had a damn good time. And I'm going to recap as much as I can remember from the trip. So as many of you already know, I left on Sunday. Yep, I left Sunday as I had told y'all in the post, and I told y'all that, and I said that was going to be the last video I was going to put up for the week. Left Sunday, flew out of DC, flew to Fort Lauderdale, stayed overnight in Fort Lauderdale. This will be my third time going back to Florida in a couple of years. So the last time I was in Florida was was it 2022? No, maybe 2021. I can't remember. I think it was 2021 was the last time I was in Florida. And when I went, I was in Miami. But Miami and Fort Lauderdale are like half an hour away. So it's like they're next door neighbors. It's like once you step out of one city, you land right into the next one. So flew out, stayed overnight, and then left the next day and got on the boat. I would say the longest process for anybody who's never been on a cruise before is when you are dealing with people who have rather large families, especially with ones who have kids, and they have to check their documents. And if their documents happen to be birth certificates, try to find a line that's shorter and not dealing with people who have birth certificates, because that's the absolute worst. Like when I gave them my documents that was needed and none of them was birth certificates, we went in and it was smooth. We were in and out of that line in like 2 minutes. It was a family in front of us that had like 3 kids and all of them had birth certificates and they stayed in that line. We ended up having to go to another line because they were holding up progress. That was the absolute worst. Just that part right there. But then once we got through, we took like a complimentary picture, like they usually do. But like with the backdrop, it was like 4 different backdrops, and we took the picture and then we ended up getting on the boat. And it felt like you had to go through so many layers just to get on the boat itself. It's not like you could just walk up there and get on. But after we got on the boat, we had to go through this little training thing that was on the first floor of the boat. And by the way, the boat had how many levels did it have? 15? I think it had 12. It had 12 decks. It was 12 decks on the boat. We stayed on deck 6, so we was at the halfway point. We was actually right above something called the Royal Promenade, which is basically the shopping district of the boat. Let me see. You know what? Let me see if I can pull up a picture of it so y'all can actually see what it looked like. And by the way, the name of the boat that we were on was called Liberty of the Seas. That was the name of the boat that we stayed on. Trying to see if I can find a decent picture of it. I'll just use this one. Hold on, y'all. Let me share my screen right quick. All right, y'all. So that's pretty much what it looked like right there. It almost looked like an indoor mall. Basically, you can go on shopping. And speaking of shopping, when it comes to these boats and how they have them set up now, you won't be spending any cash there unless you're going to the casino. The casino is the only place on that boat where you will be spending cash. You don't have to pull out your debit card or anything like that because they give you something called a C-Pass, and the C-Pass operates as your key to your room, and it operates as basically your personal card if you bought like any type of alcoholic drink, because it's all part of the package. So any food that you receive, the food is all included in the package. But if you decide to get something with some alcohol in, or basically anything from the bar, because it even have to be alcohol. So if you wanted like soda, because it comes from the bar, you would have to use that card in order to pay for it. Let's see, who else do we have in here? We got Donna C. We got Tidra. We got Sam Ham. Shout out to everybody that is in here so far. Please be sure to go ahead and hit that like button. We are just at the beginning of my recap of my trip. So that is what the Royal Promenade looked like. And thank God we didn't have to go to guest services, because that guest services line on the first day was absolutely ridiculous. So, because we were trying to find something, and one of the workers there actually assisted us. And they said, good thing you came into us, because if you went to guest services to try to figure this out, you would have been standing in that line for a minute. And she wasn't lying, because that line was extremely long. And guest services, you see where my cursor is right here? That's where guest services was at, right here. So after we did that, we went to the room. By the time we got to the room, our stuff wasn't there yet, because we just got on the boat. So we decided, to go down, and we went to this pizza spot. And I'm telling you, that pizza was so good. But I had to also make sure that I had a little something in my system before I started to really have a damn good time. So then I saw some woman, she had this drink. And if y'all follow me on Instagram, y'all saw me posted up on the stories. As a matter of fact, y'all saw me posted up on my community tab. It was a drink. And I had asked them, I said, what kind of frozen drinks do y'all have? And they told me, and I made sure to get that same exact drink that woman got. And I said, this is round one. Now my vacation can officially begin. Sam Hand said, you making me want to take a cruise. Oh, if you do take a cruise, I would highly suggest that you get on any type of Royal Caribbean based cruise. They have multiple ones, but like I said, the one I was on was called Liberty to the Seas. They have a new one that just came out a few months ago called Icon of the Seas. It's officially now the largest cruise ship in the world. But if you can't deal with a lot of people, I would suggest probably not getting on that one, because it holds a lot of people. But this one, I looked it up. I think this ship holds about 3,600 plus passengers. But that one I just mentioned is like damn near double that. So that was round one. And then after that, we went out onto the deck, like the mid deck. That's where you had your pool. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of the ship itself, so y'all can actually see what it looks like. Okay, this is the perfect picture right here to use. So this right here is like the mid deck level. So you can see it's like a little water part or whatever. So this is where a lot of the kids listen, people were ready. It's like as soon as you got on the boat, I'm like, we haven't even been on the boat for an hour yet. The boat hasn't even left the dock yet, because we got there at 12 something. And the boat didn't leave until 4 something, but actually a little bit after 4. But I'll tell you why it didn't leave on time. And people was already in the water. I mean, families and their kids was already in this part already. They went to their rooms, switched into their bathing suits or whatever, or maybe came there with them on, and immediately got in that water. Like they was ready for it. And they was ready for them because they had all the stuff going on. You had the music playing, and I had my drink. And then me and my, family was just standing there on the deck, just talking and, ready to have a good time. Fast forward a couple of hours, 4 o'clock comes around, and then what ends up happening? We get hit with a goddamn Florida storm. Not a tropical storm, thank God. Not a hurricane, thank God, even more for that. But it started to thunder and lightning and wind and rain. I'm like, oh, damn. I said, Mother Nature would have a wicked sense of humor to wait until right before we are supposed to be leaving to want to have this storm come out of nowhere. So we ended up not leaving on time, but when everything cleared, it took instead of us leaving at like 4 o'clock, we probably left around 5, maybe about 5. So we was about an hour behind, but the way the captain was whipping that boat, we still got to our destinations on time. So once all of that cleared up, the boat started to move, but then we ended up going back to the room. And then when we got to the room, we saw our luggage was outside of the door. So they already brought our stuff in. And then we started to slowly unpack some things. And then we went to dinner. We went to this place called, it was called the Rembrandt or something like that. It was like fine dining. That's what they called it. That food was so good. And you had like the courses and everything like that. And someone was bringing up about the food. Listen, when I tell you, you could order as much as you wanted, whenever you wanted, when you was at that table, and wasn't charged for it unless you was getting a drink. So that means that if you wanted 2 starters or 2 appetizers, you could get 2 appetizers. If you wanted 2 entrees, you can get 2 entrees instead of just one. If you wanted 2 desserts, you can get 2 instead of one. So, like I said, you could have ate as much as you want. I'm gonna tell you something right now. I didn't step on the scale when I got back for a reason, because I didn't want to be overwhelmed with how much weight I probably gained after this trip. Let's just put it this way. I made sure to make a beeline straight to that gym this morning and did a mile on a treadmill with a 2.5 speed on a 5 incline. So just a little heads up for people who decide that they want to go on a cruise ship. It's all a part of the meal package. Now, the only way you would not pay for drinks is if you incorporated a drink package into your included the drink package. I think that's the best way to put it. So for people who do indulge, then getting the drink package would be best. That way you won't get charged extra for that. So for those of you who like to, get a little lit, that would be the best thing for you to do. Let me see what y'all talking about in the comments right quick before I go any further. Kid Gravity said the ocean was off code. Sam Han says, okay, you sold me. I'm planning soon as this live is done. Oh, good. But trust me, I'm still on day one. I haven't even gotten off of day one. We still got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday left. Friday is just a return day. So we're just covering the Monday through Thursday. I'm trying to think, what else did we do on the first day? That was pretty much it. Like, it's the first day, everybody's getting acquainted, it's a lot of people, a lot of food, a lot of drink consumptions, a lot of music, it's a lot of loudness. It's like a party. Like, it's literally basically what it was. Now, they were supposed to have the opening like sail off party on the outside, but because of the rain, they moved it inside. And what they did was they turned it into like a cultural type of parade. And it's a lot of different cultures on that boat, especially those who work on the boat. And what I liked was the people who worked there, they had their name on their name tag, and then they had where they were from underneath it. That way you could know who is who and where they were from. I saw a lot of South African tags. Hold on, y'all. All right, y'all, I'm back. But what I was saying was I saw a lot of South African tags. It was a lot of Philippines tags. It was a lot of them. A lot of Philippine tags that I saw. It was some other ones, but for some reason, I kept seeing South Africa and Philippines a lot as far as the workers go. Sam Han said, "Oh wow, how was the cultural parade? Any FBA culture features? I didn't see any there. Like I said, a lot of the people that work on that boat are not even from the US. A lot of them are from across the pond." Scoop 2003 says, "Do they got a dance floor? They had a room where people could dance at. I'll put it like that. They even had an ice skating rink in there, which kind of surprised me. They had a whole ice skating rink inside on that boat." Denise says, "How were the accommodations?" Oh, the accommodations were wonderful. They were wonderful. I can honestly say I don't really have that many complaints. So that was pretty much the first day. Like, that was pretty much how the first day went. Now, Tuesday, I made sure to get up early and I went to that gym. Let me tell y'all something. That gym is a pretty good size. It's not a hotel gym, by any means. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of the gym. I don't think this is the exact one, but it's on the same line of it. So this right here is on the line of what the gym looked like on the ship. And I made sure to get up bright and early to go to it. And let me tell you something right now. The treadmill hits different when you're on the water. Like literally, imagine you on the treadmill and you see out into the front and you like literally on the water. That hits so differently. I made sure to get on to that treadmill. Now the gym on the day that I went, it was a few people that was in there, especially on them treadmills. Like that whole treadmill row, and it's a long row of treadmills, was pretty much almost full to capacity. But I made sure to snag me one. But this gym is like half the size of the gym that I currently am a member of. And I'm not talking about Planet Fitness. It's another gym that I go to. And this gym is like half the size of that. Y'all are only seeing a reflection in the mirror because that's the best way they can get the picture. But there's also a whole nother side that you don't see. And inside of that gym, they also have a sauna as well. So for those of you who want to go in the sauna, you can do that. They also had classes like aerobics and Pilates and ab classes and spin classes. Like they had a whole bunch. And then the spa was right above the gym. So it was a spiral staircase. If you went up the spiral staircase, the spa was up there. So if you wanted massages, facials, if you wanted to do the hot stones, all of that, that was one floor up. And all you had to do was take the spiral stairs up to go to where the spa was at. And then after that, I went back to the room, showered up and everything. And then we went and got something to eat from something called the Windjammer. Now, the Windjammer is basically a food spot that it's like a circle of nothing but a bunch of food, and they serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you can constantly go in there at any particular time, even if they're shifting out from one section to another. Now, when it comes to breakfast, that's the only time that whole floor is open and you can go in one big circle. Now, when it comes to lunch and dinner, they cut off half of it and you're only allowed to go onto one side. But that food was good. And I think that was also the day I got that mimosa. As a matter of fact, I think it was. Janessa says, so basically everything you need is on the ship. Yeah, pretty much while you're on there. Teacher said, did you have the guy singing? What? Yes, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, teacher. Yes, they did. Now I don't know how I forgot about it, considering they constantly did it. Before you went into the dining hall, they did have like a little song that they did, and they would put a dab or a squirt of hand sanitizer in your hand before going in there. So yes, they did have a song. I do remember that one. Black Woman Santa said, what ship were you on? I was on Liberty of the Seas. It's owned by Royal Caribbean. But yes, I do remember the song now. Yep, they did have a song. It wasn't even necessarily a song. It was just like, I guess, a catchphrase. And the thing is, it got so catchy that every time people got in there after the first day, you even had the guests starting to say it. So let's see what else happened on Tuesday. Tuesday was just another travel day because we hadn't gotten to an island yet. So really Tuesday is like, it was a chill day. I think that was the day we went to the casino as well. And I did pretty good, if I do say so myself, when I went to that casino. And it was called the Casino Royale. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. I'll use this one. So let me zoom in a little bit so I can see it a little bit better. It's kind of blurry, but that's pretty much the casino right there. That's just a part of it, though. They had all kinds of stuff. You had the slot machines. Of course, you had the card games, the table games, all of that good stuff. They had different raffles. I even went with my folks to play bingo, and I didn't know, I was like, okay, I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm going to tell you something right now. Don't sleep on that bingo, because they had some very high paying out prizes. So they had 3 different games. They had the one where you had to get the line, then you had the one where you had to get the 4 corners, then you had the one to get the X. The first prize, if I remember, for getting a line, whether across, vertical, or diagonal, the payout was almost $500. The second one, which was 4 corners, the payout was like $650 or something like that. And it was a black woman that won that 4 corners one. So shout out to her. She won that the 4 corners one. And then the last one was the X. And 4 people won that. So they had to split a almost $900 pot. So they got like $200, almost $300 a piece. Yep, Carlton, they have a casino on the ship. I think most cruises nowadays have casinos on them. I think for the most part, they do. For the most part. Then they had other little things going on the ship. They had a whole, like I told y'all on the midday stream, the one I did on Wednesday, they had a whole belly flop contest. Now that happened on Tuesday as well. Because I remember I was out on the deck, on the top deck, and I was like, what is going on? Because they down there making a bunch of noise, doing countdowns and everything like that. People cheering. I'm like, okay, let me get up and see what they're doing. They were out there doing a whole belly flop contest. I don't know what the prize was for that, but I hope it was worth it because belly flops hurt. And they had a whole bunch of different water slides and all types of stuff on the ship, like the ones I showed you right there. Then they had another one in the back. Let me see if I can find the other water slides. Let me pull this one up. This is better. So this is another. This is in the back. This part right here, these water slides right here are in the back of the ship, all the way in the back of the ship. So you can see they got 1, 2, then they got the little surf slide right here. Then they have this other slide right here. So that's like 4 slides that they have on top of the ones that they had right there. Then all the way at the front of the ship, they had like miniature golf. So that was all the way at the front. Aset said, I love it. I've been on 4 cruises. I would go on a cruise again. Not anytime soon, but to say that I've experienced it, that's good enough for me, just in case it doesn't happen in the near future. So this is, again, like I said, this is the back of the ship right here. And you have these 4 slides. I briefly walked over here. I didn't indulge, but I briefly walked over here. Now, I wanted to show y'all a video that I had took, and I posted it up on my Instagram page because I thought this was just so amazing. And I said, this is the type of thing you don't see when you are at home. You have to be on the water to see something like this, or on a beach to see something like this. And this is this video that I captured of the sun setting right there. But it was something I noticed when I was looking at, when I zoomed in. Now, like, look, I don't know how close it is for y'all or not, but doesn't that look like a lady's eye, a woman's eye? Like you have the eye is the sun, the pupil is the sun. Then you have the outlining right here of the eye, and the clouds look like eyelashes, and this looks like an eyebrow. I said, whoa. I said, I gotta put that up on my Instagram page because that looks so much like a woman's eye. It's crazy because it's like you got to catch it. It's all about timing. All about timing. So when I said whoa, I'm definitely gonna put that up. But like I said, it's just beautiful because, like, to see something like this again, you don't see this when you're at home. You have to be out here to see and witness something like that. And I think somebody had asked me the other day, did I see any stars at night? That not the day that you asked me, but then the next day I did see a few stars in the sky. So I thought that was beautiful. And then it was then later on, I actually did see the sun actually set behind the clouds, which I thought was very interesting as well. That would have made for a good time lapse video to see it go from this to going to completely dark. So I thought that was very interesting, because I said I want to catch a sunset. And let me tell you something right now. The weather is beautiful. That breeze, that ocean breeze on that boat is amazing. It's nothing like it. So imagine when I get home and I get off that plane and I step outside and it's kind of chilly. I'm like, man, I'm missing that boat breeze right about now. I'm missing that ocean breeze. It is nothing like it. If you feel like if you went inside and you feeling like kind of warm, all you had to do was go up to deck 11, which was this one right here, and go stand outside. Natural breeze. It's a beautiful feeling. And I'm almost certain I probably got a tan too, because that sun, you're right there. It's like there's no way you can hide from that sun, because there's no trees to block it. You have some clouds, but guess what? As the boat is moving, the sun's going to peek right back out of the clouds as you continue to move. So I thought that this was just very interesting, and I made sure to record a video of that, because I was like, wait a minute, this looks very, very interesting. So that was pretty much Tuesday. Now let's get to Wednesday, because Wednesday is when we finally made it to our first island. Like, we made it to our first stop where we were able to get off of the boat. And we went to this place called CocoCay. And this is a picture right here of CocoCay Island. So we got off the boat. Now, this is probably more like a digital landscape of it, but it's pretty much what it looks like if you saw it in person. So imagine this right here is our boat right here, and this is the pier. And we got up and we walked off that pier and walked here. So CocoCay is an island that is owned by Royal Caribbean. They own it. That is their island. And it's basically a water park. As y'all can see right here, this is a slide right here. And to my knowledge, this is the tallest water slide in the world. To my knowledge, from what I've read and what I gathered, this is the tallest water slide in the world. So you have the water park right here. It's multiple beaches. I think this thing got like 5 beaches. It has like a couple of pools. I got in the pool because to go into the water park, you had to pay for that. So I didn't go into the water park, unfortunately, but I still had a good time regardless. But it's beautiful. And this is the front part right here. Now, if the camera was flipped, you would be able to see the back. And the back, of course, has other different beaches. It's a lot of beaches there. So that was pretty much Wednesdays. When the boat got there, we were able to get off the boat, and we got off, and the hours that you could be off were from 9 to 5. Of course, with me and my family, we got off early, but we were back on the boat by 12. Because, it's like we didn't have to stay out there that whole time. We got out there, we saw what we had to do, got in the pool a little bit, got something to eat, and it was just beautiful. And also, you had people who, if they wanted to go snorkeling, you could do that. You had where you could rent jet skis. So if you wanted to get on a jet ski, you could do that as well. And that was on the opposite side. You can't see it, but that was there as well. So for those who wanted to indulge in that, you could have did that as well. But if you didn't want to pay for anything, there was a lot you could do on that island that was free. Teacher said, I didn't realize how big CocoCay Island was until going from one spot to the other. Yeah, CocoCay doesn't look big. It doesn't look big at all until you actually go there and get off the boat and walk up in there and realize, damn, this island is covering a lot of ground. But yeah, I had a good time though. I definitely had a really good time. And that was also the same day that when me and my family was sitting down, we saw a whole chicken. Yes, a whole live chicken walking across the beach. We were just sitting down at one of the benches, and we saw 2 chickens. We saw one come, and then the next thing you know, we looked up and it was another one. At first, I thought I had deja vu and thought it was the same chicken, but no, it was 2 different live chickens literally walking across the beach. And that was also the same day that I had told y'all on my midday, that Wednesday stream that I did about the women that walked into the men's room because they thought it was the women's room. So I'm going to tell that story again for those of y'all who didn't catch it. So literally one of the restrooms on this island, it's like they have the men's room on one side and the ladies' room on the other. And in the middle is a long sink where both the men and the women can share the sink. So of course, I went into the men's room and I used the stall that was right near the entrance near the door. And I had saw like two people come in and I saw the top of their head and I said, wait a minute, what are what are the women doing in here? And she didn't know, or they didn't know that was the men's side. And she ran out of that bathroom so fast, and all I could do was hear them laughing and giggling on their way to the other side. And the thing that stuck out to me, because she had an accent, so she was from the islands. Where at, I'm not entirely sure. She said, "All they saw was the top of the head." I thought that was so funny. That was hilarious. I said that was my laugh of the day. She said, "All they saw was the top of the head." That was funny to me. That was hilarious. And all I could do was hear them laughing still even more, because all I could do was just like laugh at how embarrassing it was. It was funny. It's good when people can laugh when they embarrass themselves like that. But that was my laugh of the day. And then after that, we went and we kept walking around a little bit to see what we could see. And then we went back to the pier, sat down for a little bit, because that's a long pier. For those of y'all who think that this part right here that I'm pointing to is short, that's just because it's an aerial view of the park. This pier is long. Okay, depending on your walking speed or how fast your hover round is moving that day, it'll probably take you about 10 minutes to get from here to there. Just giving you a heads up. For those of you, make sure you have your walking shoes. I'm going to just put it like that. Just make sure you have your walking shoes. Sabadan says this cruise sounds amazing. It is amazing. I had a really, really good time. Really good time. So basically, after we did all of that, we went back onto the boat, and pretty much chilled for the rest of the day. And that's when I got on my live and did that impromptu stream with y'all on my live that day when I was live on my phone. That was right after I got back on the boat, went to the room, changed, showered, of course, because I got in that pool. And then that's when I went up to that deck and did the live stream. It was right after this. Sherelle says, I've never been on a cruise. I will get cruise ship travel tips from. Oh, I'm glad that I'm able to, sway y'all. I'm glad that people who've never been on a cruise before are looking at this live and saying to themselves, I'm getting tips from Torian that makes me want to go on a cruise, or sways people to go on a cruise. I would say definitely go on a cruise if you can. It's definitely a great experience to have. So that was pretty much, I would say, that day. There was some other things that happened, but I can't remember exactly what it is. By that time, I was already on maybe like round 4 on those drinks. So that's probably why I can't remember. But now I'm just kidding. I can control my liquor, y'all. Just saying, I can control my alcohol consumption. And I always tell people, when people ask me, do I drink? I say on occasion. And I said, you know what? I'm on vacation. This is an occasion, so why not? But to just have alcohol on deck just because, nah, I don't. I'm not a heavy drinker like that. The last time, I'll be honest with you, the last time I had a drink before this trip was my homecoming in October. That just shows you right there how much I don't indulge like that. Even when I was an undergrad in college, I didn't drink like that. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. So that was pretty much Wednesday. Now let's move in shift to Thursday when we actually get into Nassau in the Bahamas. So this right here is pretty much a overview sky view of Nassau in the Bahamas. Now I don't know, was I on this side or not? I may or may not have been. I can't remember. But anyway, this is Nassau, the Bahamas, which is the capital of the Bahamas. Now, if you see this structure right here, this is the famous Atlantis Hotel. I'm sure some of you have heard of it, or you've seen pictures of it, or you've even seen videos of it. This is their premier hotel. For the most part, when people fly into the Bahamas, this is the hotel that many of them stay at. And attached to that hotel is a water park called Aqua Venture. That is their water park. But if you are on a cruise like I was and wanted to go to that park, you would have to pay to go to that park. And there will be a boat that will take you from the pier to this park. Just make sure that you're back before the boat leaves. That, like, you just have to be mindful of the time. That's the thing. Some people get so excited and have so much fun that they lose track of the time, and then they wonder why they got stranded. So that is that part right there. But the part I was in was, of course, near the pier, and it was mainly a shopping district. If I had to compare it to something, it reminded me of Canal Street. If for those of y'all who are familiar with New York and Canal Street, where it's a big shopping area, well, and if you look at it, it looks real slummy, but you can get a good deal out there. I know because I went there when I was in high school and I got a good deal on some cologne. But it kind of reminds me of that. And they have a lot of shopping area. You can buy just about anything out there. Like, you can buy souvenirs, you can buy bags, you can buy jewelry, food. Now, let me tell you something about the real reason I was very glad about going to the Bahamas this day. So before I left to go on my trip, and I had told some people at the gym where I was going, one of them highly recommended that I get something called cracked conch. And I said, what in the world is cracked conch? And they basically said it was basically a type of a fish. And I said, okay. And I didn't look up any pictures of it. I just took their word for it because they highly recommended it. And then another one told me I should get it as well. And then the woman who did my hair told me the same thing. So I said, okay, let me go ahead and get this item. And if y'all follow my community tab post, y'all saw the picture that I posted up of it a couple days ago. Man, when I tell you, I felt like I was about to enter and fall into a food coma after eating that. That was so good. And I think what made it so great is the fact that I got it from the place where it's known from. It's not like I got it from somewhere here in the States that where they try to Americanize it, quote unquote. I got it from the source. So that made it even better. And then I had something called I don't want to mess the name up. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, here it is. Let me pull this up right quick. I got this right here called the Bahamas Goombay Punch, which is their drink. It was like, this was like drinking a yellow Fanta. It had a pineapple taste to it. And I believe it is a Coke product. Oh, you said Carlton says, how do you spell it? It's spelled CONCH. Pime says, I hope you aren't allergic to shellfish. Oh, trust me, I'm not. Like, nothing started to swell up on me, or my throat didn't start to lock up, or I didn't look like Will Smith and Hitch. I'm good. I can eat seafood. But this right here was so good. I almost would have meant, if it was possible, if they could have put that and made that into a frozen drink, it would have sent it over the edge. But it was still good as is. But yeah, the crack conch was really, really, really good. They give you a lot of food too. They gave you a lot. Like that whole, like that picture that y'all saw me post on the community tab, that was when I opened up the plate, the tray. That was before I ate even one. And then you had the fries that was on the side, and they had these rolls, this bread. The bread was it had a very interesting taste to it. It had like it was like a sweet taste, not like a Hawaiian roll, but it was a combination. It tasted like your regular traditional roll mixed with a Hawaiian roll, if that makes sense. Tore that whole tray up. Now my parents, they had like the chicken. Even the chicken tasted different, and I think it's all due to the seasoning. Whatever they seasoned it with was, it was so good. If it's a secret recipe, it needs to stay a secret. But something tells me anybody could probably do that. But yes, that food was so good. Let me see if I can find a picture again of the crack conch so people can see what that looks like. It's not my tray, but it'll do, because I had way more than this. But that's pretty much what it looked like. Carla said I'm allergic to shellfish. Damn. But yeah, this is what it looks like for those of y'all who don't know what it looks like. It almost looked like a funnel cake. The way it was like sitting on the tray. And it's one of the things where you have to like pull it apart, kind of type of deal. Now, one thing that I was made aware of is they said that it's made fresh when it has a crunch to it. They said if you bite into it and it's chewy, that means they didn't make it correctly. Thank God I did not run into that problem. It was crunchy. It didn't have a chewy taste to it. They basically saying if you had one that was chewy, wasn't made right, and you would have been spending your time trying to chew it, almost like a steak that's not cooked all the way or cooked properly. Kid Gravity said meat isn't super processed down there. It's mostly organic. I can tell, and I'm glad you said that too. And I said this during my live on Wednesday. When it comes to their juices, a lot of it is sugar-free. I'm just giving y'all a heads up. A lot of the juice down there is sugar-free, no matter what juice it is. But if you're talking about like a lot of them tropical type of juices, a lot of it is very sugar-free because, like Kid Gravity said, it's very organic. It's very natural. So I can't even knock them for that. Sherelle said, I taught E. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And you want to know how much that whole dish costs? What I got now, of course, what y'all see right here is less. But y'all saw the picture that I posted on the community tab where this part right here took up like 90% of the plate. It almost pretty much buried the fries. That whole plate was $14 and worth every penny. Janessa said, for those who are allergic to seafood, do they have, like I said, they had other menu items. They also had the cracked chicken, and then it was called cracked chicken. So yeah, if you can't eat shellfish, they had other items on the menu as well that, you could indulge in. I also was able to get a couple of pieces of Bahamian currency. Basically their dime. It's silver and it has ridges on it. And this just says currency of the Bahamas on it. So I was able to get some of those, and I bought a couple of those back with me. There you go. Teacher said I tried conch in Florida and didn't like it. Now I know why, because it was chewy. There you go. That is why. That is why you did not like it, because it was chewy and it wasn't crunchy. And that's again what my people at the gym and the person who does my hair told me. They said if it's chewy, that means it wasn't made properly. And I can gladly say that mine was not chewy. So yeah, that was the crack conch right there. Now I got something to show. I got something to well, let me show y'all a couple of pictures of me And I meant to show this earlier. So here's a picture of me right here. This is when we was at CocoCay. I forgot to show y'all when I was talking about it. So that's me right there at CocoCay. I got my bucket hat on. As you can see, that sun is beaming on the back, but definitely had the hat on to protect, myself and whatnot. But that island sun hit different. That's all I'm gonna say. So that was me when we was on CocoCay Island, and here's me right here when we were at Nassau, right here. And I got the shades on today on that day. Good thing I did, because there was rarely any shade. When you was out in the sun, you was in the sun. So I'm sure that I definitely got a tan when it was all said and done. And I know I did, because one thing I did was I looked up like, why did like my bottom lips like start turning a little, like, I guess you can say purple or whatever the case may be. And they said that typically comes from the sun. And I said, you know what? Now it all makes sense, because I was outside a lot. But I did have some stuff. I did have some stuff on though. Dalim, I did have some stuff on. So yeah, those are the two pictures right there. Like I said, a lot of the stuff I posted in my stories. That's why you don't see them on the main page. Darlene said, I like your hair. I appreciate it. Tabadan said your hair was proper. I appreciate that. He does said them eyes was bucking without them glasses. Trust me, they weren't. They was looking just like how they are in this picture without the glasses. Trust me. But someone had brought something to my attention during my live that I did on Wednesday. And I was like, when they told me that, I was taken aback, because I didn't know what to expect from that. And they was asking me, they said, Torian, did you go anywhere when you went to the Bahamas? Because mind you, I hadn't been to the Bahamas just yet. They said, Torian, did you see any black women out there who's from there braiding white women's hair? And I'm sitting here saying to myself, no. And because I didn't know how to take that, because I was like, no, I have no clue what you're talking about. Well, how about when I was on my way back to the boat from leaving Nassau to go back on the boat, there was this thing called the Hair Braiders Pavilion. There was something called the Hair Braiders Pavilion. And I kid you not, it took me back to the comment that person left, where they said, you will probably see the black women out there braiding these white women's hair, these white women and girls' hair. And when I tell you, it was like 10 rows of white women and white girls getting their hair braided by these black Bahamian women. I'm talking about Bo Derek style, like how Bo Derek did it back in the day, with and having the beads and all that. I was like, oh. I was trying to see if I could find a picture of it, because I didn't take a picture of it. I should have, so y'all could see it. But I'll just pull this picture up right here as an example, so y'all can get a gist of it. Okay, so y'all see it right here. That's just a thumbnail from someone's video that they posted up on YouTube, but it was at this place called the Hair Braiders Pavilion. It's the same exact spot. I kid you not. They were doing their hair just like that. The women and the little girls. And they were the only ones there. and it took me right back to that comment. I was like, oh, that's what they were talking about. And so when I saw them get back on the boat and I saw them have like the braids and stuff in their hair, I said, yep, they stopped at the Hair Braiders Pavilion. So for those of y'all who ever, if you get a chance to go on a cruise and y'all go to Nassau, the Hair Braiders Pavilion is like literally like when you get off the boat and walk through the pier to go through security, is right there on the right, like near where the food and stuff is at. That, I'm gonna be honest, that completely caught me off guard when I saw that. But I said I find it very interesting how when we rock this style, which we've been known to do, especially the women, it's looked at in a particular way. Just something interesting, you know, just something I thought I would throw out there. But after we did all of that, we got back on the boat. This is a better picture of the boat right here. I think this is the picture I used for my thumbnail. After that, we got back on the boat and pretty much chilled. Like that was a lot of downtime. We went and ate some more, all of that good stuff, and pretty much started to pack because we wanted to have our stuff packed so we can get ready to leave the next morning, because they had people leave out in layers, like in sections. We did self-assist because we'd be damned if we was doing the other one, because we would have been on the boat longer than we needed to. So we did the self-assist, went to the airport, and then came back home. And that was pretty much it. Like I said, it's all a blur. And the thing is, I had to remind myself that today is Saturday, because on the elevator, they had to change the carpet that had the days of the week on it every day to remind the people that today is Monday, or today is Tuesday, or today's Wednesday, or today's Thursday, because they know that on that cruise, time works. It feels like time works a little different, and everything happens like almost like in a machine, and you will forget the days of the week. I know I did, because I had to remind myself, oh, wait a minute, today is not Monday, it's Tuesday. Or today is not Friday, it's Thursday. I had to continuously remind myself that today was Saturday and not Sunday, because I'm still in that mode. It's almost like when you're traveling long distances and you enter a different time zone, and it kind of throws you off a little bit. The same thing happened to me when I went to LA for back in 2022, and that's a 3-hour time difference. Exactly, Artie. You really do lose track of the days because you're having such a good time. So, like I said, they had to switch out them carpets on the elevator that had the days on it, because if they didn't, people would really lose track of the time. Well, not the time, but the days, because you're literally like almost like entering into another world, into another realm. But if anybody would like to come up and just chop it up with me, or say anything else, as it pertains to the trip, or ask any additional questions that I didn't, really think of, the link is right there. I almost didn't want to drop the link because of the type of stream it was, but you know what? Y'all haven't heard from me in a week, and I haven't heard from you in pretty much the same amount of time. So I said, let me go ahead and just drop the link so y'all can come on up and we can chop it up for a little bit. And shout out to everybody that has come through. I definitely greatly appreciate it. First up, we got Wallow J. My goodness, you got KG's picture up there. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I decided to keep it for a little bit since he wanted to troll me. I'm gonna troll him back. So I was just coming up to say I'm just happy that you took some time off with the fam, got to relax and stuff like that, because my vacation doesn't take place until July. So I'm just happy for you. Get your mind right, relax and stuff like that. So I'm just happy for you, man.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's all I had to say. Be warm, man. I'm out. I'll be back in the chat.
All right. Oh, let me see. It was Cyber asked how was the internet service. The internet services was good. Now, how that worked is you had to have your phone on airplane mode and then you connected to their Wi-Fi. But the internet services was really good throughout the ship. And there was another question someone says is, did you miss going to eat and coming back to a clean room? Oh, nah. You mean as far as like breakfast goes, like leaving out and coming back and the room was clean? Oh, I definitely like that part. Of course, who wouldn't? Nanook said, did they have any whodunit shows? Did they? Listen, it was a lot of stuff going on, and it's impossible to do everything. But it was a lot of stuff going on that ship. I couldn't even do half the stuff that they had going on. All right, next up, Xavier. What's going on?
Yo, bro. Good to see you back, buddy. Welcome.
Appreciate it.
You look really rejuvenated over there. Like your spirits were lifted. That was really good to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always wanted to go to the Bahamas. Actually, never been, but sounds like it's a hell of a lot of fun. Really.
It is. I had a good time. Even if we was only there for a couple days, it was definitely great to experience another part of the world. Like I said, this is my first time going there. First time going to the Caribbean, period. I've never been to any Caribbean island or location before. So, if I hypothetically never go back, I can say that before I leave this world, I did go. So yeah, it's definitely great. And I would say, like, if you or anybody else has never been, I would highly suggest going. Some people choose that they don't want to do a cruise because they don't want to be on the water for long periods of time. Some people will choose to fly into the Bahamas and just stay right there on the island.
Yeah. Now that's awesome, man. So like, but I mean, what's your like? I just wanted to ask, like, what's your next like ideal vacation destination? Like, you ever want to go to Africa or something?
I've always said that if I had a chance and wanted to go overseas, I said I wanted to see what Dubai did look like. Because I know a lot of people that have gone there. I said I wanted to go to Tokyo.
Oh yeah, same.
Yes, I want to go to
That's been
Tokyo.
my lifelong. Yeah.
I would like to experience. Oh, another place. Mykonos, Greece. I've always said I wanted to go there because I like how they're structured, like that structure looks. It looks. I said that's a beautiful looking structure. I said I wanted to go and see what that would like. I think those are my three places. Oh, also Egypt as well.
Egypt. Oh yeah. If I could suggest, another place would be South Africa. South
Okay.
Africa has some really cool. I spent like 3 months in SA, and it's a beautiful place. Really, they have a lot of relaxing places.
Definitely.
Well, it's just what I just wanted to welcome you back, and it's good to see you, man.
Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
You too. Shout out to Xavier. Teacher said, did you use the app that helped keep me up with the activities going on? Yes, I did have the app. And with that app, you can put the calendar and put the stuff down for whatever you wanted. They had it was supposed to be a Michael Jackson trivia game they were supposed to have. And I had put down 4, but they had canceled. I was mad as hell. I was really looking forward to that. I definitely was swept in that one. And now that I'm thinking about drinks, it was a margarita that I had wanted, and I forgot to get it. I had forgot to get that damn margarita. It was like staring me right there in the face on that menu. But what it was is, it was another drink that stuck out to me that I wanted. And I had got that instead. And then I forgot all about the margarita. Carlton would say, I want to see the world while I'm still here. Well, that's the whole point. And shout out to the people that's able to travel like that. We actually had ran into this couple who lives in Florida, and they said that they go on these type of cruises all the time. I think the husband has said that this was his 35th cruise, and his wife, that was her 25th. But see, the thing is, they live in Florida, so they don't live far from the port. So it's not like they got to travel by plane to get there like we did. Now, there was a cruise port in Baltimore. I don't think it went to the Bahamas, though, but it's currently unavailable because of the bridge collapse. So now people can't use that until they get that situated, whenever that'll be. Yeah, Carlton, when they said 35th, I said, wow. So I can only assume that, they're retired. I think I can safely say that they're most likely retired. And like I said, the water is different there. You know how when you see the water here, it looks all dirty, like real grainy and brown and green. It's amazing how when you get to a certain part of the water on the ship, you can look down and see the water change from that grainy green color to a dark blue. That let me know that we were entering into the Bahamas because the water was different. And then once we got to like the islands and the beaches, it went from that dark blue to that crystal light blue color where the water was real clean. Like it was actually a dark blue, like a navy blue color. And it's amazing too, because then you can see the color shift in the water. Even if you look out far enough, it's like some of it looks like patches of it is dark blue. The other patches are light blue. Exactly. I said it's very clear at the beach. If you're at the beach out there, the water is very, very clear. It's almost like being in a pool that's on the beach. AW1, he said, yo, what's up, Torian? Welcome back. I'm glad to be back. Thanks for welcoming me back. Glad to be back. And I'm glad I was able to come on here with y'all and, just kind of break down and recap my trip. Because like I said, this was what this live was intended to be anyway. So y'all could see, what I was up to and the time that I had. And like I said, this was stuff that I could remember off the top of my head. Like I said, I'm sure there was other stuff that was going on, but I pretty much gave you the gist of it. And hopefully, kind of, I guess you can say, convince people if they've never been on a cruise before to definitely go on one. And if you do go on one under the line, under the company that I did with mine. It doesn't have to be the same exact cruise ship, but if it is under the Royal Caribbean umbrella, definitely do it because they have multiple ships under their name. Haven't heard one bad thing about it. So I'm glad I was able to go and able to share this information and just the recap of the trip in its entirety with y'all, especially since I took this week off. I think this is the longest I've ever gone without uploading content at one time. Usually y'all probably maybe a day or so or two, but a whole week. I was kind of like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but you know what? It wasn't bad. And I think that helped too because it made me realize I can detach from it if I want to. And because this was New Black and Media Appreciation Month, where I was like, again, pumping out all these videos and live streams every single day, which I usually do not do, but I do actually plan to continue to do so even past April. And said to myself, I needed this. I needed this. I didn't even take my laptop with me. I left my laptop at home. The only electronic device I had with me was my phone because I needed some type of electrical device. And that was the only thing I had with me. I spoke to y'all, of course. I posted some things on X. I spoke to y'all, of course, through that live stream I did on Wednesday. I posted a couple of things on the community tab. Even when it came to Instagram, I took pictures off of on my camera app and not on Instagram and posted them later. Because I wanted to be in the moment, especially for a place I've never been to. Now, of course, if it was a place I've been to, then it would have been nothing for me to be like, okay, it is what it is. But if any of y'all get a chance to go travel, and it doesn't have to just be the Bahamas, but if you do like international traveling, do it. I would wholeheartedly suggest that you do it, even if it's one time. Scoop said, with my high blood pressure, I definitely need a vacay. Hey, I would say take it. I think I remember you leaving that comment in the stream that I did on Wednesday. I would say take it. Take a time, like a good week off to rest and rejuvenate, and then come back better than ever. I think I saw a kid, Gravity had left. He said he wants to go on a 14-day cruise. I don't know if I have the strength to do a 14-day cruise, but if you want to do the 14-day, hey, more power to you. You must really need a break. But again, you never know what goes on in people's lives, and they just need that. C Green said, I went on 2 cruises last year on Royal Caribbean to the Bahamas for the first time, and the weather was perfect, and I had a great time in CocoCay. Yeah, you're definitely gonna have a good time. You will not be bored at all. Trust me. If you bored on a cruise like this, then that's because you chose to be bored. I'm just saying. Just saying. But okay, y'all. I'm about to get up out of here. You know, I'm glad that y'all came through. I'm glad that 2 people came up. I understand a lot of people didn't want to come up because y'all feel like this was just more of my stream. And y'all contributed more so from the chat. But I'm glad that I was able to come on here and talk to y'all for a good hour and some change. Yes, I am officially back. We are back on a regularly scheduled. Of course, you know, if anything comes up, I will definitely let y'all know. But for now, we are back on track. Tomorrow, of course, it's Sunday, so the video polls for the week will be going back up like they usually do. And also tomorrow at 12 p.m. we have True Crime Sundays. So be sure to look out for the True Crime Sunday live window that will be coming up. That'll be a great story. And I think I found a workaround so we don't deal with that copyright thing again like we did with the Christopher Dorner one 2 weeks ago. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Again, shout out to everybody who came through. Shout out to the people that contributed to the live stream, those who contributed via Cash App. I greatly appreciate that as well. I already started recording some commentaries. Like when I got back yesterday, I have some midday streams set up coming up this week as well. So be on the lookout for that as well. And with that being said, y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe and be one.